I'm PJayScribbles, and today I'll be teaching you everything you need to know when you're designing icons for social media. I've also made a text version of this tutorial if you wanted to check it out and save it for later. This tutorial is split into two sections, concepts and exporting. If you're more interested in the exporting side of things, such as creating your own icon template, canvas sizes, and whether or not you should use JPEGs or PNGs when sending icons over to your clients, you can go ahead and skip to this part of the video. And if you're interested in the concept side before we get into all this, you can continue watching. So let's get right into it. How many times have you followed an artist or creator because their icon caught your eye and you wanted to see more of their work? This is why icons are the most popular and common option people will commission from artists. It's what makes you, well, you. When it comes to overall design, if you decide to do an up-close shot of the face, think about the expressions you can use. Whatever expression you choose will drastically change how people will perceive the character or persona in your icon. Icons can tell a story, and speaking of storytelling, icons should be easily recognizable from afar and up close. There are many ways to do this, and most of the time artists will choose an up-close shot of the face or whatever is most visually interesting in a design. It's better to simplify as much as possible instead of making things too complex to visually understand. However, this doesn't mean you should skip out on the emotions and stories your icons can tell. It can be a very simple smile or a character bursting out with tears. As drawing, think about how you can push the emotion in your icon design. The more you can push to the design, the better the outcome. Alright, debate time. Should you draw your icons in circles or squares? As someone who's drawn icons both ways, I can confidently recommend drawing in squares first. Why first? Well, let me explain. You're better off having extra parts of a drawing to crop out rather than none at all. It will 100% save you heartache in the long run, and I recommend drawing a square version of the icon and then turning it into a circle. You can do last-minute adjustments and other edits without having to create extra work for yourself. It also allows your client a bit of wiggle room when it comes to using the icon you've provided for them. One problem with circle icons that I found is that it doesn't allow for different kinds of crops. You might find later on that you want to zoom in or use a slightly different angle of your icon, especially as you start to upload on multiple platforms. You'll see that I don't have much of an image to work with when uploading. In the end, it's up to you how to design your icons. Both methods have their pros and cons, and I'm only talking about them so you can keep those limitations and benefits in mind. Canvas size and file size limitations on social media. Even though icons appear on different social media platforms at smaller sizes, you should never draw on them because it's such a low DPI and image to work with. It's never gonna be a good quality image. You really shouldn't have to worry about shrinking down your images to these sizes either, as all platforms will take the image that you upload and resize it for you, so this is something to keep in mind if you're worried if you need to draw on a really tiny canvas in order for a good quality image to appear. The most common size used is 800 pixels by 800 pixels, though I really recommend 1000 pixels by 1000 pixels or even 2000 by 2000 pixels. It allows you to make a much better looking liner and image, and if you really need it, you can save your bigger sized image and shrink it down to the smaller sizes. And in the example above, I've shown you how each side actually looks right next to each other. The only limitation you'll have will be the different requirements on various social media platforms. Keep in mind that file size limits will increase and change over time, so as to not risk putting outdated information in this tutorial, I won't say specifics for each platform. If you ever worry that you'll give your client an icon that has a file size that's too big to upload, try uploading it yourself on your own social media page. You don't have to save the image, just watch out for the warning that says the file size is too big. If it doesn't say anything, you're in the clear. Let's go ahead and make our own icon template. First, make a new canvas. I'll be using 1000 pixels by 1000 pixels. Then go to Figure and click on the ellipse tool. Make sure the brush size is 0.5. While holding Shift, create a circle. Holding Shift makes sure that your circle is evenly shaped on all sides. It doesn't have to fit the whole canvas at first, it's much more important that it's even. Next, scale the circle to almost touch the edges. Make sure that it is centered and has the same amount of space on all sides and is as close to the edge as possible. Next, with our paint bucket tool, we'll fill the outer edges of the circle and it should look like this. Now, make sure you have your layer selected, go to Edit, then Register Material and click Image. After clicking Image, a panel called Material Property will open. For what we need, you can ignore most of these settings. All you have to do is name your material, click on the area you want to save it to, then in the search tag settings, click the icon and type in icon. This will make the template easier to find, and hit OK. You're done. All you have to do is click and drag your template onto the canvas and drag it into the correct spot. In the Layers panel, hold Ctrl and click the preview square of your template layer. This will make a selection of everything within it. Then use the shortcut Ctrl-Shift-I to invert the selection and hit the Layer Mask option to crop your icon. So, exporting our icons. Should you use JPEGs or PNGs? Really, this topic deserves a whole tutorial in and of itself, but to keep this section brief and simple, it really depends on what you need. In fact, it's better to say when you should use JPEGs and PNGs. I tend to send clients a JPEG and a PNG version because of the reasons listed below. JPEGs save as small file sizes, making them easier to share and upload online. The downside to them is that over time you'll lose more data and quality, and it's not too great for long-term use. While PNGs use a type of compression that doesn't lose data over time, making PNGs perfect for logos. However, they will save as higher file sizes, making it harder to upload on websites with different file size limitations. Most of the time, people will use JPEGs before PNGs, but as graphic designers and artists who share a lot of files online, it's good to keep these differences in mind. Finally, let's talk about backgrounds. Clip Studio Paint offers a ton of different materials that you can use within the backgrounds of your icons. Some of my favorites include this laced circle, this really cute sky background, and this square polka dot background. I love the colors behind it, and I'll lower the opacity so it just gives a little bit of texture and color that really makes the icon underneath it pop. There's even more materials that you can find created by other artists on the Clip Studio Paint asset store, so if you're looking through them and you're not quite finding what you need, go ahead and search within there. I'm sure you'll find something that definitely works for what you're looking for. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and it lets me know to make more tutorials in the future, and feel free to leave some suggestions below as well. If you want to see more of my artwork, you can find it linked down in the description, where you can also find the text version of this tutorial on the Clip Studio Paint tips page, where you can save it for later, and you can find all the information that I mentioned in this video down below there as well. And with that, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye! Bye!